Alrighty, so I have been researching Alan Mulally for the last couple weeks, who is the former CEO of Ford and the historical leader that I chose for this assignment. And I chose him because every headline that I saw about his name mentioned how he saved Ford during the 2008 to mid 2010 recession and that sort of thing. And I really wanted to find out a little bit more about his leadership styles and approaches that had everyone saying that he saved them and how that worked out for him. So Alan Mulally was the CEO and president of Boeing, the commercial airplane line, for a while, and then in 2006 he was hired on to be the CEO and president of Ford Motors. And just a short 2 years later, the globe went through a financial crisis in 2008 to the mid 2010s, and it affected every country differently, but especially the United States and the housing market and that sort of thing, as well as car companies. And pretty much every major car company in the United States and globally had to file for bankruptcy or file to receive a bailout that they would later have to pay back. And Ford was the only company that did not have to do this based on Alan Mulally's leadership and that sort of thing. And he spoke at an event called the Vistage event in 2018, and he revealed 4 of his main leadership points and leadership tactics and his 10 core values. And I really went into research on those things that were said at that event because I feel like that is really the background for his leadership styles and approaches and how he saved Ford Motors overall. And so basically the first 4 leadership points were the execution, his strategy, the cash flow, and the people. And the first 3 of those points I really focused on with situational and adaptive leadership, because all of those points were focused on how to save the company. And I feel that really fits into situational and adaptive because you have to be able to adapt to the situation and the circumstances. And that's really what he did. He knew that the average consumer would not be focused on buying a new car during this recession because people were out of money, and people were losing their homes and that sort of thing. And so he really had to change the look of the cars to be more appealing, to have people think, oh, I need that, I want that new car, and also change it to be financially available for the consumer, because when you're broke, you're probably not going to buy a new car. And so having these new vehicles during the recession be viewed as a little bit cheaper than other potential car brands really helped Ford. And Alan Mulally is the one who made those decisions as he was adapting to the situation that Ford Motors was put in, because it changed so drastically during the recession. And without that, they would have been losing so much potential profit, because the consumer would see an average vehicle that they had seen before 2008 and think, I don't need that, my car is good enough, and that sort of thing, especially if it was expensive. Nobody's going to buy that. And so he really assessed the situation and the circumstances that the company was under with the globe in the financial crisis that it was in. And he really adapted to those things. And he really mentioned that with how he decided to change the company. And those 2 approaches to leadership really kind of pushed him into a couple different styles of leadership. And I think the team style really fits with his 4th point, which was his people, the people of the company and shareholders with the stock market and that sort of thing for Ford Motors. And so with the team approach, it's really focused on the people and the task at hand. And his 10 core values really focused on those 2 things. It was focused on putting his people first and making sure everyone was included in making decisions for what was best for the company. And I feel as though many previous historical leaders have used the autocratic approach, which is focused only on the task and not at the people at all, which is completely opposite of the team approach. And I feel that that has really not worked in the past. It has failed for those people, and he used the opposite, and I think that really worked for him. And I think that is a large part of the success that the company reached during this time, and how he saved the company from being a super broken, almost bankrupt company to one of the most successful American car companies to this day. And the discursive approach to leadership, I feel that he also used that, and I feel that the situational and adaptive really pushed him to use that. And with discursive, it's all about the communication in the situation, how to generate change and completing the task. And I think that change is really difficult, but he did it well and he did it correctly, and that is really what helped him and the company. And all of those are obvious strengths that he really possesses, I feel like. And the weaknesses were a little bit more hard to assess because there were so many sources saying that Alan Mulally is the perfect CEO, that he is incredible, he couldn't have done anything wrong. But I feel due to his age that the tech era could kind of be his downfall, and a lot of people don't want him to become the CEO of Microsoft or anything like that because they feel that he's not up with the tech stuff, and he's kind of mentioned that he doesn't really want to adapt to that, and I think that could really be a downfall. But all in all, I think that his successes and his strengths really outweigh the weakness of the tech era, because he did save the company, and I think his heart was truly in the right place and he was doing the right thing, and he led his people well to something more than just their salary. They believed in something bigger than that, and I think that's what truly matters.